Hey there, welcome to another episode of Blake's Everyday Podcast. Last night we ended at the end of chapter 15 of Deuteronomy, and today we start at the beginning of chapter 16 of Deuteronomy. Tampa played tonight. We did win in overtime. It was pretty awesome, and you know what it really taught. There is a message that it really brought to my mind, because I've been the superstitious type for all of my life. Whether it be when I was playing college football or just wrestling or anything like that, high school football. I've always been super superstitious, and it's just like, well, I guess I really wasn't like that with wrestling, but in a certain way, I guess. But with football, I definitely was. But with team sports, I've been very superstitious, especially watching hockey. And I know this even sounds like superstition, but me caring too much is my downfall. Me caring too much is absolutely my downfall. Because what I ended up doing didn't just, obviously I'm not riling up the players, I'm not talking to the players. I'm not some kind of hired hand that comes in during the locker room breaks and talks about, hey, you guys, saddle up. It's not like that. And I have no voice for the TV, so they're obviously not taking my input. They don't care. They don't care what hat I'm wearing. They don't care what socks I'm wearing. They don't care if I'm wearing a jersey. They don't care if I'm doing these things. It's hockey. They're playing. And I gotta be comfortable with that. And I gotta be comfortable that I'm not in control, and they're somewhat in control. I'm not gonna say that, well, yeah, I mean, God is in control of everything, but I need to take a step back. I noticed tonight when I did take a step back, it was actually really comforting. I was getting really angry at the game. My wife was like, hey, you're being an a-hole. And it's like, okay. And well, I didn't say that. I was like, what are you talking about? But nonetheless, I was being that person and took a step back and we won the game, and it just, I don't know. Obviously, I know that some of these things don't matter, but dang, man. Tonight it hit me like, I don't know. None of it matters. Because at the end of the day, sports don't matter. At the end of the day, the gospel is what matters. the gospel, the good book, is the only thing that truly matters. And I'm sitting here getting angry at a hockey game. And what precedent does that give my kids? You know, hey, it's okay to be mad as long as it's about sports. No, you know, like if my kid yells at the TV when I get older, I'm gonna be angry. You know, there's a certain point, I guess, where you just go, hey, you know what kind of role model am I being? I mean, I didn't do anything crazy here. You know, I was just getting angry at the game. I'm just like, come on, you idiots, you know. But it's not like they hear me, and even if they did, do I want them to hear me? I mean, these guys are, you know, the guys that go out there, and I've played, like, not like professional hockey. No, I didn't play professional hockey, but I did play some roller hockey. And let me tell you, it is challenging. Especially here in Southwest Florida, in the little area that I live in, because there's a lot of Canadians, and they play hard. But I've played that sport. I know what I don't know, because these guys are playing at a whole different level. Just playing in roller hockey, I'm like, there's no freaking way. So what am I doing here, yelling at the TV, about to lose my voice, calling my team, you know, like the players on my team, idiots or something like that. You know, like, it's ridiculous. These guys are battling their butts off, and they came out with a win tonight. And they don't deserve to be called that. I mean, don't get me wrong, that is why they make millions of dollars a year. But at the end of the day, they're humans too. And we need to respect that, because dang, if I was in their shoes or whatever they're wearing, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy, especially playoff hockey. They live for this. This is their job. It's not my job. My job is doing work on that computer over there. And that's why I'm not at their level. That's why I'm not in their shoes. They're there for a reason, and I'm here. And there's a reason that I'm here. And I am rambling on, but I am getting to a point. There's a reason that I'm here. And the reason that I'm here tonight is to read the Bible to 13 subscribers. Although that might not sound like a lot, it's awesome to me just to know that I even have subscribers. Because when I started this YouTube channel, it wasn't to gain subscribers or anything like that. It was to encourage people to read their Bibles. If anybody was even watching. What I'm doing right now is just reading the Bible in the descriptions that my study Bible have on the bottoms of every page. It's amazing. And it's what's even crazier and more amazing is that I haven't really gone out and shared that I have started this YouTube channel. I have literally posted over 60, I think over 60 videos. We've stood strong, we're reading the Bible, and we have 13 subscribers. And I know that's not crazy, and I will never gain off of that, and I will never participate in any gains like that, because what I'm doing here is I'm reading the Bible, not for monetization. I'm reading the Bible for me and you, and I think it's beautiful, to be honest with you. Kind of hits home, and I will do that as long as it takes. If we can save some people, that'd be great. But last night we stopped at chapter 15, and tonight we start at the beginning of chapter 16. And the title is The Passover. Oh man. Observe the month of Aviv and celebrate the Passover of the Lord your God, because in the month of Aviv he brought you out of Egypt by night. Sacrifice as the Passover to the Lord your God an animal from your flock or herd at the place the Lord will choose as a dwelling for his name. Do not eat it with bread made with yeast, but for 7 days eat unleavened bread, the bread of affliction, because you left Egypt in haste, so that all the days of your life you may remember the time of your departure from Egypt. Let no yeast be found in your possession in all your land for 7 days. Do not let any of your meat you sacrifice on the evening of the first day remain until morning. You must not sacrifice the Passover in any town the Lord your God gives you, except in the place he will choose as a dwelling for his name. There you must sacrifice the Passover in the evening, when the sun goes down on the anniversary of your departure of Egypt. Roast it and eat it at the place the Lord your God will choose. Then in the morning return to your tents. For 6 days eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day hold an assembly to the Lord your God, and do no work. Count off 7 weeks from the time you begin to put the sickle to the standing grain. Then celebrate the festival of weeks to the Lord your God by giving a free will offering in proportion to the blessings the Lord your God has given you, and rejoice before the Lord your God at the place he will choose as a dwelling for his name. You, your sons and daughters, your male and female servants, the Levites in your towns, and the foreigners, the fatherless, and the widows living among you. Remember that you were slaves in Egypt, and follow carefully these decrees. Celebrate the festival of tabernacles For 7 days after you have gathered the produce of your threshing floor and your winepress. Be joyful at your festival, you, your sons and daughters, your male and female servants, and the Levites, the foreigners, the fatherless, and the widows who live in your towns. For 7 days celebrate the festival to the Lord your God at the place the Lord will choose. For the Lord your God will bless you in all your harvest and all the work of your hands, and your joy will be complete. 3 times a year all your men must appear before the Lord your God at the place he will choose. At the festival of unleavened bread, the festival of weeks, and the festival of tabernacles, no one should appear before the Lord empty-handed. Each of you must bring a gift in proportion to the way the Lord your God has blessed you. Appoint judges and officials for each of your tribes in every town the Lord your God is giving you, and they shall judge the people fairly. Do not pervert justice or show partiality. Do not accept a bribe, for a bribe blinds the eyes of the wise and twists the words of the innocent. Follow justice and justice alone, so that you may live and possess the land the Lord your God is giving you. Do not set up any wooden Asherah pole beside the altar you build to the Lord your God. And do not erect a sacred stone, for these the Lord your God hates. Okay, that was chapter 16. We do have a couple descriptions here. Chapter 16, verses 1 through 8. When God delivered the Israelites from Egypt, he brought them out with signs and wonders. The final plague resulted in the death of all Egypt's firstborn sons. But God spared the firstborn sons of the Israelites by passing over the homes of those who had placed blood over their doors. From then on, God required that the Israelites give a sacrifice in place of all their firstborn sons. This was a constant reminder of how God had spared their children. This should also remind us that we graciously been passed over for punishment. God gave the sacrifice of his firstborn son, Jesus Christ, so we could be free of sin and its terrible consequences. It's a very good description. Chapter 16, verses 9 through 12. The Festival of Weeks, or Pentecost, was a season of great joy among God's people. It came near the beginning of the harvest season and was a time of commemoration and rejoicing, celebration the gifts that God had given. It was also a time of fellowship, feasting, and sharing God's gifts with those in need. God ordained festivals so people would remember his deeds and be encouraged together. We also need the fellowship of God's people to assist us as we seek spiritual renewal. We need to learn to join with others for mutual encouragement and celebration of what God has done for us. All right. I did want to bring this up earlier. I was thinking about this before I started reading tonight, but bringing up festivals, it actually makes sense. Goodness gracious. what the heck are they putting in IPA beers? Those things taste like vomit. If I was to, which I'm gonna have to go sober here pretty shortly, within the next coming months, I think I'm just gonna start drinking IPA beers until then, because oh my goodness, absolute disgrace. That stuff tastes like, but I mean, honestly, that stuff tastes awful. Whoever drinks those is crazy. They must be like out of their mind. Like, that stuff tastes like I'm drinking diarrhea. It's awful. Just, I don't get it. I really don't. But I guess there's a lot of people that do, and that's gross. I'm gonna pause it real quick. All right. So now we head on to chapter 17, which at the end of chapter 17 we will only have one description, but I think that is, I think this is the last chapter we're going to read tonight, and then we'll say our prayer, and we'll do our description, read our prayer, and then call tonight. It is funny, though, how the Bible just kind of follows you. I mean, there's some about just stopping and reading the Bible at night. It's awesome. I need this. Well, I need it every night. So tonight we're getting our fill. But chapter 17, there is no title because it's supposed to continue on. Do not sacrifice to the Lord your God an ox or sheep that has any defect or flaw in it, for that would be detestable to him. If a man or woman living among you in one of the towns the Lord gives you is found doing an evil in the eyes of the Lord your God, in violation of his covenant, and contrary to my command, has worshipped other gods, bowing down to them, or to the sun, or the moon, or the stars in the sky, and this has been brought to your attention, then you must investigate it thoroughly. If it is true and it has been proved that this detestable thing has been done in Israel, take the man or woman who has done this evil deed to your city gate and stone that person to death on the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses. A person is to be put to death, but no one is to be put to death on the testimony of only 1 witness. The hands of the witnesses must be the first in putting the person to death, and then the hands of all the people. You must purge the evil from among you. If cases come before your courts that are too difficult for you to judge, whether bloodshed lawsuits or assaults, take them to the place the Lord your God will choose. Go to the Levitical priest and to the judge who is in the office at that time. Inquire of them, and they will give you the verdict. You must act accordingly to the decisions they give you at the place the Lord will choose. Be careful to do everything they instruct you to do. Act according to whatever they teach you and the decisions they give you. Do not turn aside from what they tell you, to the right or to the left. Anyone who shows contempt for the judge or for the priest who stands ministering there, to the Lord your God is to be put to death. You must purge the evil from Israel. All the people will hear and be afraid and will not be contemptuous again. When you enter the land the Lord your God is giving you and have taken possession of it and settled in it, and you say, let us set a king over us, like all the nations around us. Be sure to appoint over you a king the Lord your God chooses. He must be from among your fellow Israelites. Do not place a foreigner over you, one who is not an Israelite. The king, moreover, must not acquire great numbers of horses for himself, or make the people return to Egypt. To get more of them. For the Lord has told you, you are not to go back that way again. He must not take many wives, or his heart will be led astray. He must not accumulate large amounts of silver and gold. When he takes the throne of his kingdom, he is to write for himself on a scroll a copy of his law, of this law, taken from that of the Levitical priests. It is to be with him, and he is to read it all the days of his life, so that he may learn to revere the Lord his God, and follow carefully all the words of his law, of this law, and follow carefully all the follow carefully in all the words of this law and these decrees, and not consider himself better than his fellow Israelites, and turn from the law to the right or to the left. Then he and his descendants will reign a long time over his kingdom in Israel. All right. We do have one description here. Chapter 17, verses 8 through 13. Submission to authority is a concept. Submission to authority is a concept that is largely lost in our culture, but it is consistent with biblical teaching. God is our supreme authority. The Bible also mentions other authority structures that will support strong relationships and an orderly community. All of us are to be submissive to God. Wives and husbands are to be submissive to each other. Children to parents. Employees to employers. Church members to elders, etc. All right. Definitely could have read that better. It's a little annoying how I just word salad. But let's go ahead and say prayer. Dear God, we just come to you tonight just happy and grateful that you've got us back here today, just reading your word and just going for it, Lord. And we just want to continue on this path, and we pray that you let us continue on this path. Dear God, we're so happy and grateful that you've kept our children and us alike just safe and healthy, and we pray that you continue to watch over us, Lord, and just keep food in our stomachs and just keep us on this righteous path. In your God's name, amen. Could have been better. Fast prayer. I do hope you guys have a great rest of your night. It is Tuesday night, I believe. Yeah. So tomorrow's Wednesday, and we will continue our talk tomorrow. And we'll just continue on Deuteronomy. Hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Good night.